Welcome to a new episode of A Breath of Fresh Football. For our loyal listeners, sorry it took us so long to get another episode out. We just been really busy. So how you been, Logan?
Like you said, man, just super busy between school and work. Ready to get some recording in. So, how about you?
Oh, I'm good. Just like you said, I've been super busy. I've had, I'm a teacher. I also work a second job, so working two jobs. I've been seeing a new girl every weekend, so it's been going really good. And so I've been over at her house almost every weekend for the last month or so. But
So, like a different girl every
no,
weekend? Let's
no, no,
clarify
no,
that
the
because you made it
same
sound
same
like,
girl. I just been seeing her every weekend for the
all right.
last month. She's really cool, and I actually just got back from seeing her. So
Well, let's get started. So, the Super Bowl. What were your thoughts on that?
honestly, I was super surprised. Like you can never bet against Tom Brady. Tom Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and when I was little, I didn't like Tom Brady. I despised how much he won. I thought he was a cheater for everything like that. They got caught cheating a couple times. But as the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, I've started to grow the respect for him because he's just the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, and we're watching it happen. And he's in his fucking 40s, and he's still one of the best QBs in the league. I mean, I I was just really I was shocked.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but
Oh man,
going
that's
okay. So building off of what I was saying, the Chiefs played really bad, and I know they had maybe a couple guys out with injuries on the O line, but Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. They
you
said they
know,
said he ran for over 5,000 yards in that game on
you know.
just trying to get away from
Here's
the defense.
here's my thing on that though. Everyone's making excuses for Pat Mahomes, and yeah, his line was awful. But look at Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers doesn't have help, everyone's like, "Well, he just trash, washed up, blah blah blah, can't win it all." Pat Mahomes does it, and it's oh poor Pat. The team needs to look out for him, and the team needs to work with him and get him time to throw. Like I don't like how the league and everybody is making excuses for Pat Mahomes when Aaron Rodgers has the same issues every year.
Yeah, I get what you're
Like
saying.
I have a stat actually to read out. In 2019, Aaron Rodgers had 648 yards lost through drops. And then last year he had 552 yards lost through drops. That led in the NFL both years.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Aaron Rodgers definitely does need to get some help. And I get what you're saying. Everyone's trying to make excuses for Patrick Mahomes, but yeah, I mean, going back to the game, like I mean, he was running for his life. They weren't blocking for him. I know they had some injuries, whatever, but it was also just drops. Like, I mean, I think Hill had a couple drops. Travis Kelsey dropped one in the end zone. Like, I mean, if they catch those passes, catch those touchdowns, it's a little bit different of a ball game. But
Yeah, we could
the
be talking
Bucks,
about
Tom Brady, they still come out and win the game. So I was
yeah,
shocked.
that I mean
But some stat I want to read real quick is all-time playoff wins. Tom Brady has 34. And second, you could put Tom Brady only in conference championship and Super Bowls combined, 17. And
goodness.
then tied third is Joe Montana, and then Tom Brady since turning 37, 16 wins. That is
Dude,
crazy.
we're never going to see another quarterback like that in our lives. Never.
Exactly. Looking back at that stat, Tom Brady has 34 playoff wins. The next closest person is Joe Montana with 16. He's almost
Yeah.
he's about to double that.
Yeah, and they're coming back next year for a repeat for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're all coming back. Antonio Brown, uh, Gronk,
Chris Godwin might.
Chris Godwin. They'll probably bring back. You still got Mike Evans. You still got who are the running backs?
They're talking about bringing back Leonard Fournette and oh
Ronald Jones.
goodness,
Ronald Jones. Yeah.
yes.
I mean
And honestly, they can go out there and get some key players in free agency if they let some of those guys walk.
that, or I don't know for sure, but I'm sure they got a first round draft pick. They could probably.
Well,
Uh,
they're trying to bring back Levante David, Burnett, all those guys. So it's gonna be a little rough, but that offense is powerhouse. I mean, it showed in the Super Bowl. Gronk came back. I mean, we saw old Gronk in that Super Bowl.
yeah, that was honestly he caught what 2 touchdown passes in that game.
Yeah,
Uh,
AB caught a touchdown pass. Um, Mike Evans in that game was getting wide open every chance.
yeah,
I mean, the Chiefs defense could not stop him,
I'm pulling up the box score real quick. Let's
and the
see.
Chiefs offense just couldn't get anything.
Yeah, I mean Tom Brady only threw for 201 yards. He had 3 TDs on 21 completions, but the running game was huge. I mean Leonard Fournette ran 16 times for 89 yards and a touchdown, and Ronald Jones ran 12 times for 61 yards, and yeah, Gronk had
Well,
6
and
catches for 67 yards, 2 DDs. Well, Mike Evans only
and I
had.
don't know if our viewers know this, but we actually went to high school with a guy that will eventually get on that and played in the Under Armour All American game with Leonard Fournette. And since day one, I've been a big advocate since watching him in that Under Armour game that Leonard Fournette's going to be something great. He hasn't really lived up to the caliber yet, but I think he'll eventually be better than what he is.
Yeah, I honestly totally forgot that Tanner, we're gonna have Tanner Farmer on, hopefully soon, so you guys will get to listen to Tanner talk about college football and what it was like being in NFL training camp and his his journey through football and now with wrestling. I think his goal is to wrestle for in the Olympics. I think he wants to go for a gold medal. And I really hope he gets to achieve that dream of going to the Olympics and competing. So,
And honestly,
and he's a good
couldn't
guy.
ask for a
Yeah.
nicer guy either.
But yeah, I
That
forgot he put.
dude,
Well, I don't. I remembered he played in the Under Armour All American game, but I didn't. I haven't really looked
yeah.
back to see who all played in that game with him. That's kind of crazy.
Leonard Fournette, Myles Garrett did. I remember Myles Garrett did. Speedy Noel did. Those are all I really remember from it.
Yeah, we'll have to look back
But
on that, and we'll have to ask him about what he remembers from that experience and everything. So let's jump into our next topic. For the people that are listening today, it was going to probably be a lot shorter episode because I mean, once we talk about the Super Bowl, other than that, there hasn't been much news since the Super Bowl. How about we jump into? Did we talk about J.J. Watt last time? I don't remember.
no, we did not.
So over the last
J.J.
couple of weeks, J.J.
Watt.
Watt got released. The Texans were nice and released him. I understand them wanting to do the best interest for JJ, but how do you give up one of your best players for absolutely nothing? Like, you're not even getting
So Kyle, and like back in 2015,
I just
back in 2015 or 16, if I told you J.J. Watt was going to be released and not retire as a Texan, would you have believed me?
well, I mean, with all NFL players, I mean, if you told me in 2016 Tom Brady would be playing for the Bucs, I wouldn't have believed you. But the nature of it
Yeah.
is no one stays with one team anymore, and this isn't all sports. Like, especially baseball. Like, the last player that's probably gonna played for one team his whole career is probably Derek Jeter. And I mean, I don't. I would have to look back to see if anyone else. I mean, David Wright played for the Mets his whole career, but I mean, it's not very. And both those people, both those players I just named, they were both captains. They were named the captain of the team. So like, it's I don't the way it is nowadays. No one's gonna stay with a team long for the whole career. I mean, Matt Stafford got traded away. I think they said from 2009 to 2000 through 2016, every quarterback drafted in the first round is not with their original team or they're out of the
Yeah,
league. That's crazy.
Carson Wentz was the
Yeah,
last one.
Carson.
So back to the Under Armour All American game though with Tanner, and we'll talk more about it with Tanner. He played against Jamal Adams, Dalvin Cook, Jabril Peppers, and he played with Chris Godwin, Juju Smith-Schuster, Bo Scarborough, Deshaun Watson, Marlon Humphrey, Adoree Jackson, Myles Garrett, Cameron Robinson, Leonard Fournette.
Wow.
That is crazy.
That's kind of crazy. He played with Deshaun Watson. He probably got the block for him. It's kind of crazy.
Probably. I cannot wait to talk to Tanner
Yeah,
about that.
that is a neat experience. Um, so going back to JJ Watt, so what was your thoughts when you saw he got released?
I'll be honest, I was shocked. I never would have thought I would have seen JJ Watt on another team besides the Texans. Never would have thought of that. And then another thought that went through my head is being a Ravens fan, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to play JJ Watt twice a year against and with JJ on one side and TJ on the other side.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
really
think the biggest two teams, a lot of, well, I'm sure every single team in the NFL is interested in him. I'm sure they're all putting their offers in, and I don't know what he's gonna do, but his two biggest, well, he has three big ties to three teams. The Steelers, they have both his brothers, Derek and TJ. He's from Wisconsin, so Green Bay's always an option. And his wife is from Chicago, and I believe JJ lives in Chicago. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't stalk JJ Watts. I don't know where he exactly lives. But those are the three biggest ties. And out of all those, obviously with Steelers having both his brothers and Green Bay being his home, I think they both two have the leg up. But you never know about the Bears, because if the Bears pull off a trade and say they trade Hicks and maybe throw Quinn or someone in a deal to try to get Watson, if the Texans are still going to trade Deshaun. I don't know what's happening on that front. It's been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks. But if they can get some money off the books, they could. And if they get Watson there, JJ might want to go there. So it'll be interesting to
um
see what happens with JJ. At least he's taking his time. He hasn't signed anywhere. Hasn't really been any too big of rumors, just other than he tweeted and said that free agency is wild.
yeah, and the Browns. There's been talk
Oh
about him
yeah,
going to the
yeah.
Browns.
I saw some about like what it would be like if he played alongside Myles Garrett. And boy, I would not want to be a quarterback, especially in the same division.
Yeah,
Lamar
dude, tell me
Jackson
about it.
better
I
be
mean,
running for his life.
if I would love if JJ Watt went to the Ravens. JJ Watt is probably my favorite player of all time, besides like Ed Reed and Ray
Logan,
Lewis.
this is kind of funny,
Um,
but I think you say that in every episode about a player. Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. Fair
Uh,
enough. Fair enough.
okay.
I do have a lot of favorite players, so don't make fun of me. But JJ Watt always have a special place in my heart. Always rooting for him.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so next line of business. What's your thoughts on what happened to Vincent Jackson?
Um, Vincent Jackson was honestly a great player, and it's a shame. It's a shame what happened. I mean, prayers to his family, everything. But did you see his family donated his brain to CTE also?
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, kudos to them for that. Vincent Jackson, from what people said, I've never known the guy, but he was a down to earth, nice guy, and it's a shame he was only 34, I think.
I think he was
Mid to late
38
mid to late
because
maybe,
he's been retired
but
for a couple years since his contract with the Bucks ended.
and no one knows what happened to him. I mean, they just randomly found him. I have not heard anything about what
Yeah, so
happened
he
to him.
was 38 from what I'm reading. I I heard he had some alcohol problems maybe. But I don't think anything, like you said, I don't think anything's really came out from it. And at this point it's all just like rumors, like people are just, probably just saying stuff. So who knows if what I saw was even a valuable resource, but
Yeah, he was a fun player to watch, and rest in peace. I mean, he's gonna be missed. Great person.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it
sucks.
was, it's sad, with, everything that's happened the last year and a half with COVID and everything. I mean, we've lost a lot of good people, and that's just another person that's gotten taken too soon. And, like you said, rest in peace, and prayers for his family, that they get through this difficult time. All right.
Yeah,
So we're jumping into our next topic. We had a big trade happen 3 days ago. They-
I wouldn't necessarily call this a big trade. I mean, I think the Colts just robbed the Eagles of Carson Wentz.
I think it is a good trade for the Colts. I do think Carson Wentz teaming him back up with Frank Reich, the head coach for the Colts, I think is a good move. I think I'm hoping he returns back to form. I'm hoping the Colts go out and get some receivers though. I mean, they got a couple good players at the receiving position, but I do think I would hope they would target someone either in the draft or free agency to bring along with them so Carson has some weapons. But I do think the Colts got a good. I think they did get a good quarterback to fill their hole with Philip Rivers retiring and Jacoby Brissett becoming a free agent. And I do think it was time to leave Philadelphia. Uh, I I think he liked it there, but Philadelphia, the fans are so
The fans are
cruel
cruel,
if you're
dude.
struggling or whatever. And you know, going back to Nick Foles winning the Eagles a Super Bowl. After Nick Foles did that, they built a statue for Nick Foles outside their stadium. Could you imagine going to your work every day and seeing your backup or one of your coworkers has a statue outside of the stadium?
Especially when you help them get there.
Exactly. And he was having an MVP season that season too. And he probably would have took them to the Super Bowl too. But it was a shame he got hurt and Nick Foles stepped up big and was able to take down Tom Brady and win the Eagles a Super Bowl. But also what
Yeah,
came out since the trade was that Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson didn't speak for 8 to 10 weeks of the season. Can you imagine your head coach and your quarterback not speaking for 8 to 10 weeks? That's more than half the season.
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I don't know.
Did you see? Did you see they only gave a second and a third round pick?
Well,
Well, the second round pick can become our first round pick if Carson Wentz plays 75% of the snaps or 70% and the team makes the playoffs.
yeah, I do think yeah, I did see that, and I do. Well, unless Wentz gets hurt, I do believe that it will become a first round pick. But if it stayed a second round pick, like you said earlier, I think the Colts robbed the Eagles because the Eagles don't even have a quarterback right now. I mean, you have Jalen Hurts, but
And they're talking about possibly bringing in
yeah,
a
that's.
quarterback in the
I don't
draft.
think it's Jalen's job just yet. He played well in the games he played in, but he still only completed a little over 50% of his passes. And you can't do that to succeed in the NFL. So, but going back to what I was saying with Carson, they don't have any wide receivers. They have no weapons. So, you know,
No, they just got rid of Deshaun
yeah, but
Jackson.
I mean, Deshaun, he was hurt most of the year. He hasn't been the same for a couple of years.
Yeah, and that's their best receiver
Yeah,
that they
him
had.
and Alshon, and both of them just couldn't stay healthy.
They're,
Um,
they're talking about getting rid of
they
Alshon
probably
too.
should, to be honest. But that's jumping into what do you think they'll do do you think they'll bring in someone for free agency? Do you think they draft someone first round, or do they draft someone in the second, third
I
round?
I see them taking Trey Lance honestly in the
You
first
think
round.
Trey Lance?
Trey Lance are just well, you're going to get Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be there, and Zach Wilson won't be there.
Yeah, or you got Justin
Trey,
Fields or Mac Jones?
uh, no, Mac Jones. I can see them also taking Mac Jones. I totally forgot about Mac Jones. I don't know. I see Justin Fields falling off a lot of people's
Yeah, I
boards
mean,
lately.
speaking of boards right now, I'm looking at a mock draft, and it's an updated one. It said 217, so that was a couple days ago. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson going to the Jets at number 2, which is interesting because not there hasn't been much
Um,
talk about what the Jets are going to do. It sounds like
well,
they may be shopping Sam Darnold, but I don't know what's happening there. That could be a thing the Eagles could do. They could bring in Sam Darnold if a trade goes down or some. They got Mac Jones going fourth overall to the Falcons, which I don't see that happening because Justin Fields is from Atlanta, from Georgia, and I think it would be Atlanta's best interest to bring in fans wise, and it'll kind of bring back. He's kind of a dual threat quarterback that would bring memories of what it was like when the Falcons had Michael Vick. And I think a lot of fans would love to have that type of offense back. But Mac Jones, I do believe, would fit the kind of offense they have right now with who do they have at quarterback? What's his last name? Matt Ryan.
oh
Yeah.
goodness.
And
Yes.
then for 6, they got the Eagles taking Jamar Chase from LSU, the wide receiver, which I do think is a
So,
possibility for
eh,
them to do.
but yeah, bro, every year we see the Eagles take a wide receiver,
Yeah.
always, and it never turns out
But
good.
I think after them passing on Justin Jefferson last time, they know they got to get it right this time. And your two best wide receivers in this draft is Jamar Chase of LSU and Devontae Smith, which I keep seeing Jamar Chase being the first one off the board. Well as this other. So I
I
think,
see it. I see it changing all the
what'd you
time.
say?
I see it changing all the time. I see Devontae, I see Chase. I mean, it just
Yeah, I
differs.
mean, everyone different how they view or what they think will happen. I mean, looking at this other mock draft that's right next to the one I'm looking at, they have the Texans train to up it to number 3 with the Dolphins. So I assume that's a trade with Watson going to Miami, and they have the Texans taking Jamar Chase at 3, which is, I mean, if you're trading up, I don't know if
Why?
well, I guess they would get
Yeah,
Tua back from that
why?
trade, so I guess a wide receiver would be the best interest. But if you got Tua there, you might as well just draft Devontae Smith. So I don't. I mean, like you said, everything's it's always changing. Drafts change so often. So I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I'm just going up and down the list, and I mean, looking at both mocks, I mean, even for the Ravens, they have a linebacker in one of them and a defensive back in the other. So, no one really knows. Yeah,
For the
they
Ravens?
got some sophomore linebacker from Georgia and a senior UCF DB.
So I'd linebacker maybe to put at an edge. I don't see the Ravens getting a corner. We have the best cornerback duo in the
Yeah.
league. No.
Well, it just says DB, so maybe he could play. He probably doesn't have a set position. He could probably play any of the spots. So he could be strong safety, free safety, whatever. But
our biggest need right now is we need another
yeah,
line, dude.
I mean,
First round, but again, that screws
yeah.
us every year.
I think a lot of teams need O-line. O-line are like running backs. They are no. It was this analogy I remember from one of the podcasts I was listening to. Linemen are like relievers. They have a good couple of years and then they kind of just fall away. So you got to keep bringing in linemen to replace, like you do when you sign relievers in baseball. You keep bringing in guys.
Yeah.
Whoever stick, they stay in the bullpen. Whoever doesn't gets released, sent down, whatever, whatever happens. So that's what a kind of analogy they were making in one of the podcasts I was listening to.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that. I do. And linemen are, again, we say this. I think we said this last podcast, the podcast before. They're not the pretty picks, but they're the good
Exactly.
picks.
I mean, when's the last time you've seen someone wear a lineman jersey?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, probably when Joe Thomas played for the
Yeah,
Browns.
it's funny you say that because I remember you saying that last podcast too. Because I think we brought
he's
that
the
up
only
last
lineman that really people have ever. Yeah, we need to
podcast.
not do that as much.
Well, if we had more to talk about, but so you got any last thoughts on anything before we wrap it up?
Honestly, sorry this one's so short, guys. We just don't have much to talk about. Sorry
Yeah,
we haven't
I
been
think
getting
we're
to
gonna
you.
try to
We've
have
been busy.
some people on. We have Tanner lined up. I have a couple people that want to come on and talk some football with me, and
Yeah.
Logan's got one of his friends that is gonna come on. So we may bring out a couple more episodes in the next couple weeks, but they're gonna be shorter episodes. And of course, we'll just jump on whenever we can. Some I would like to do is we're gonna try. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it with our schedules, but I think we want to watch a former like an old game and just review it a little bit, talk about who did well in the game, what happened. So we may start with watching some old Super Bowls. Maybe I would like to start with maybe watching the 1999 Super Bowl with the Rams and the Titans, and then we could go from there. Watch the Ravens in their first Super Bowl, and I think that would be something that me and Logan will try to do if we can fit it in our schedule. So maybe you guys got that to look forward to, us talking about some old games, and so.
And if not, you can just hear us say the same thing
Yeah,
every
we could
week like
go
we
over
have
the
been.
next mock in a week or two. So it was. We are so glad that you took some time out of your day to listen to us, and we look forward to you guys listening to us some more. And if you would like to interact with us on Twitter, we'd love to have some football conversations with you. So
Honestly, yeah, we would not mind having
yeah,
people
if
on the
you have
podcast.
interest in joining, reach out to us. My Twitter is at Kyle Schmidt 13. And I don't know, what is yours? At Logan Ratliff?
Bro, I don't even know, to be honest with you.
If you find my Twitter, you'll probably find his at some point because
mine's at Logan Ratliff
okay,
2.
Logan Ratliff too. So again, thank you for taking your time, and we will see you hopefully sometime soon.